No, I agree. There's a comment here from Fuad, who's a City fan. It says, Don Robbie said Arsenal will win the league this season. Do you agree? Do you agree with that, Steve? Have you seen enough from Arsenal so far this season to say they can challenge you for that EPL title?
If he said that, I respect him. Because last year they were dancing around the fucking garden all holding hands and no one was putting a marker down for it. So if he's actually come out with a pair of bollocks and said Arsenal's going to win the league, I respect it because, he's put his head on the chopping block. So, I don't think they're going to win the league. I think City win the league. But if he believes in his team, I like to see that. It was all the fence sitting and, well, this might happen. And it was all a bit like never really believing in themselves. And that's what I think they needed to do, believe. But if he come out and said they're going to win the league, then fair play. You should back your team. They've got a good enough squad. They've got a good enough team. That result the other night at Palace was it was one of them games like City do it all the time. Go to Palace, it's minging. Just get the result job done. You know what I mean? 1-0. Come away, forget it. That's what they do. And don't know. I don't think they'll win the league, but they'll be up there, I think. Listen,
I've got them coming second right now, is where I've got them predicted. I've been shocked in the last few days by the level of negativity from Arsenal fans towards their own club. I get they haven't been scintillating at the beginning of the season, but in some respects, as a rival, that's more worrying because we know they've got another level to go up. We know this Arsenal team can play better than they are playing right now. They started last season like a bull in a china shop. The next two games are Fulham and Man United at home, I believe. They're probably, with the way United are playing right now, they're going to go 4 for 4. What a great start to the season that's going to be. And they haven't even yet fully integrated their new players. Jesus has still got to come back. They may sign somebody else. I sort of look at them and look, they're linked to Evan Ferguson at the minute, and some of their fans are saying it's too much money, or they're saying we need a prolific striker. I don't think listen. I think Ferguson could be a good purchase for Arsenal in 12 months' time. I don't think they'll spend £100 million on him now. You've also got to see how he progresses in another year. But this notion that they need a goal scorer that's going to bang 25, 30 goals in, I don't even think they do. Yes, they've lacked a bit of clinical edge in the last few games. But Saka and Martinelli are going to come good. And when Jesus is fit and plays, he'll score some goals for them. Like the chances Eddie and Nketiah missed the other day, in my opinion, Jesus takes them. So, yeah, they're looking a little bit dangerous to me, Arsenal. And they are the club for me that are going to push you guys closest this season, in my personal opinion.
Listen, they're a good side. I've said that all season. They've got a great team. But the fans are mad. They are mad. They'll always find something. It's like, we go back to pre-season when United beat them. Or we needed Xhaka in there. They just sold him. It's like, what are you talking about Xhaka for? What the fuck are you going on about? Jesus is injured, so now it'll be you need a 20-goal striker. When Jesus is back, there'll be something else. And, it is what it is. I just told them beginning. I stood on AFTV fan cams after the Charity Shield, right? Watch it back on AFTV in front of them all. And I said, all you guys need to do is relax. Relax and back your team. It might not go to plan early doors, but you're going in the right direction. Be positive, get behind the players, get behind the manager, get behind Edu and all that, and relax, because you put an awful lot of pressure on your own players and your own manager for no reason, because there's probably 10 or 15 teams in that Premier League that would swap where Arsenal are right now from where their teams are. But instead of thinking it like that, they're like angry little kids that want everything now. Want everything now, want everything now. And it don't work like that. If you're going in the right direction, stick with your team, get positive, get behind them, and it'll come. We could have thrown our toys out of our pram and Pep Guardiola fucked the Champions League up against Lyon, against Tottenham, against Chelsea. We could have all thrown our toys out and said, you couldn't do this, he'd never do this, he needs to do this and all that. But we didn't, because we knew we hit a bump, we got a smack in the bollocks, and we thought, right, okay, we need to learn off that. And it took us a few years and we got there. And I think Arsenal are going in the right direction compared to where they was a few years ago. They were lost. They were just like a boat in the sea with going in, nobody driving it. So now they look like they mean business and they've got a good side. So they just got to keep going on that path.
Not that they do. They certainly look very, very good. And I think what you said there is so on point. They've got to not panic, because I understand there's having standards and there's holding your team accountable. But we also know that it's true. It's true. Even, I'll give you an example. I was looking at the Arsenal fan base, and I'm like, both sides are doing no favors for Kai Havertz. So I think in his first 3 games, I think he's been good. 5.5, 6 out of 10, good. He has not been astounding and amazing. I heard Julian the other day say, actually, you should focus. Football players are only in possession of the ball around 3% of the game. So about 97% of the game, players are out of possession, which means you should focus on their off-ball work more than their on-ball work. And for me, that is a warped piece of logic and mental gymnastics. And they're trying to paint him out that he's been this superstar in the first 3 games. Mad. Doesn't help the player. Equally, talking as though Kai Havertz has been absolute dog shit in the first 3 games is also so over the top. The extremes on both sides don't actually help your team because it creates infighting and more people dig at the player. Just call it what it is. He's been good in the first few games. Arsenal have been good in the first 3 games, and they drew with you but beat you on penalties, and they won the opening 2 matches. The fans have got to calm down, hold high standards, but stop panicking or overgassing the team every 5 minutes, because that filters into the dressing room and is far more damaging. Take a note out of your guys' book. Cool, calm, celebrate when you win. But
we don't put any pressure on our players. We don't put any pressure on our players. Even the content creators that are Man City content creators do not put pressure on the players. If any of Man City content creators put a stream out there ripping a player apart, we'd be on them like fuck, saying, what are you doing? There's no need for it. Don't do it. And that's how we are. And I remember Rodri signing for Manchester City, and in his first 10 games for Manchester City was fucking useless. And people said, this guy will never, ever be fit to lace Fernandinho's boots. But you know what we did? We just stuck with him, and we just got behind him, and we didn't criticise him. He's the best DM in the world now. He's a monster. David Silva came into the Premier League. At first, he didn't hit the ground running. He was a bit touch and go, not really at it. Leroy Sané, first thing. So it takes a bit of patience. I understand it's not all Arsenal fans. I get that. I know there's some young kids.
I hear you.
Reactionary. But what I'm saying is people like AFTV, people who've got a bit of clout, people who've got a bit of say in the fan base, they're the ones that need to bring the level head down. They're the ones that need to calm everyone down because they've got a lot of clout. And people might look at it and say, oh, fucking hell, how can fans influence things? But they do. These players are watching all the time. And what can be said on a stream by an influential person can filter through a football terrace quick. And it can change the opinion of people quick.
We know it gets into dressing rooms, and I know you've revealed this before, so I can say it. You were talking about Big Blue Sharks, and suddenly Erling Haaland is messaging you pictures of sharks. So what you said, not just on this stream, but on this stream and AFTV, your own channel, this stuff was being seen in that dressing room by those City players, and it was encouraging for them. I think you should criticize players when they play poorly. And I remember hearing Jesse Lingard say, we want the criticism when we deserve it. But there's criticism, and then there's going so far over the top. And you see it, Man United fans are identical to Arsenal fans in this way. The way we talk about people and turn on them and speak about them, sometimes it's gross. And the thing is, for me, I would love to have the money to put this together. The way some people I know, and I'm friends with them on Twitter, talk about Rashford. I guarantee if I put Rashford in front of them, they'd ask him for a selfie and give him a hug. That's the problem. If you haven't got the balls to say it to their face, I almost feel like saying stop doing it on social media purely for clout, because that can be the only thing you're doing it for, because you're not that, like I said to there's no Arsenal fan after these opening 2 games who in real life is as angry as they are pretending to be. Man United fans, fair enough, 2 bad performances, only 1 win, there could be a bit of anger. But even then, you go back to last season under Ten Hag, started first 2 games poorly, and then become a pretty decent team last year. Show frustration, but you don't have to throw baby out with the bathwater straight away after 2 games. It's crazy. But I suppose for a lot of fans online, it's the quickest way to success, isn't it? To be overly extreme. You know, I don't follow a lot of other social media things. I see, I'm surprised. It won't be long until football YouTubers are swatting each other and sending the police to each other's house and doing mad stuff for like the normal YouTubers do. It won't be long until that starts happening. I'm telling you, they're gonna do you'll be sitting there streaming and some dickhead will call the police on me just so they can come and arrest me while I'm live on the air. It's a thing. I don't know if you've seen that. Gaming streamers do it to each other. It's mental. Football YouTubers, it will creep into our part of the industry as well. It's crazy. Like the overreaction I see to some things already this season have been crazy. Absolutely crazy in my opinion. But, you know, I'm not saying again, viewers saying we should be allowed to criticize. I said you can criticize, but the level of criticism has been ridiculous, especially to a team that's got 100% record this season. I don't get the anger. What Steve just said about Arsenal and being calm, etc., was so spot on. I wish our supporters were like that. I'm chilled as fuck and enjoy the new era. Just going to enjoy it and support until then. Peace. Thank you, Mr. Tybox. Thank you for that donation yesterday as well. It was amazing. Thank you.
I've had conversations with. Granted, the City YouTube world is not as big as other clubs. I get that because we've never been that club really like that. But the ones that do get involved, we all speak. So we see each other at the games. City Extra, MCFC lads, DAPS, me. There's loads of us. And we can have a level-headed chat and say, like, look, we need to get behind. For example, Jack Grealish was getting a bit when he first come. So we said, right, let's get behind Jack. So we did a stream. Don't give up on Jack. And we explained it how it was. And that's when you're going to get people give him shit. I get it. But the majority of fans were like, okay, fair enough. You know, it is what it is. It's damaging the club. The last thing we want is people going to the Etihad on a Saturday and getting on his case. It doesn't do anyone any good. Yeah, if you think he's shit, say your opinion. But say it online, do what you do in a quiet way. Don't be making these big, massive agendas and getting the ball rolling where we've got our own players fucking shitting themselves because they're coming out the stadium and getting grief, because I've seen that. And it's like, that's all I'm saying to be shit, man. You know what I mean?
And Jamie here says, how patient would City fans be after, like, if they went a long period of time and no trophies?
Well, waited 34 years for a trophy, so we can be as patient as you want.
Look, I understand where Jamie's coming from. And again, you'll understand there's criticism. And then listen, if Arsenal keep performing like this and they start losing, it doesn't get any better, I get it. I do understand it. But you haven't even lost the game yet. And people after the game on Monday night, they came on my stream and they were talking like they'd just lost. And I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. I've been doing this a long time. And I've never seen a reaction to a win like that, where you were the better team, by the way, by a country mile, and you got robbed of a bad refereeing decision. I couldn't believe it personally. Ian Henry here says, lack of squad depth destroyed Arsenal last season. And for our fans need to relax and take it game by game. We put way too much pressure and hype on our players, and it cost us to fall at key moments.
That's it. Simple. No one's trolling. People think when you say something, you're trolling, not taking a piss. I'm not. We sensed it, the City fans, that we had an opportunity. If we won at the Emirates, then we need to put the pressure on the fans, because the fans have got a lot of clout. So if they start getting this ball rolling and the momentum's going, you see what happened with City last year when we kept saying about the Etihad being a fortress on these Champions League nights and all that, because we got this ball rolling and we carried it on. So all these big games at the Etihad, it was bouncing. And people were taking the piss. Oh, you're going to the Etihad? Yeah, we'll see. Even Real Madrid, that master paper put that thing up saying we've been led into a trap because the Etihad was unreal. They were creating something similar at Arsenal. They had the Ashburton Army getting the fans going. The atmosphere was improving. The
song at the beginning of the game. They're sort of their anthem, North London forever.
Exactly. So this was all building in the right direction. So what we said was, if we beat them at the Emirates, we need to put it on the toes. So when I said the shark thing, we all said, get on the fans, man. Just unsettle them a little bit. Just unsettle AFTV. Just unsettle Robbie. Just make them think. Let's troll them a little bit. And people can take the piss all they want, but we did our job, because that's what we just wanted to terrorize them a bit.
You are right. You are right in what you say. It's what fighters do to each other. It's psychological warfare, and they say and do things to each other that the general person in the street says that's disgusting. They're also getting in the ring to beat the shit out of each other, and if you can put your guy off and make him worse at punching you in the face, I almost feel like there's almost no rules to it. There is a psychological element to this, and sometimes you can be really angry at someone in your team and say that was rubbish, that was crap. Please do better, Bruno, because I believe in you. You're great. I think if they saw that, they'd say, oh, thanks. As opposed to just saying, oh, we knew he was shit. We should sell him. He's a prick. And I hope he gets measles. Like, that's not going to help. And I'm being polite when I say that. We've got some more super chats here. Lee Gunner and Northside the other day are absolute jokes. What I will say is this, though. Football fans shouldn't be shut down from having opinions. What we should be doing, and I will say this to people, that don't give people a platform. Let's not let them air it. Now, I think you should, because they'll just do it themselves in their own spaces, and it still trends.
If I don't like Lee Gunner, I don't watch him. If I don't like Northside London, I don't watch him. I turn it off.
Northside.
Do you know what I mean? But I just turn him off, and then I watch the positive shit that gets me going for the game, and I go to the match, be around my own people, and we create our own vibe. If I know League Gunner's going to wind me up, I ain't watching him. If I know Northside's going to get on my tits, why watching him? If you don't like fucking, if you don't like the chase on ITV and it winds you up, you ain't coming home eating your tea watching the chase, are you? Because it'll piss you off. So it's simple.
I agree. The emotional fans don't see the new formation is trying to have our best defense, midfield, and attackers on the pitch for total control. I agree with you there, Brian. Not all of us, Steve. I want to win and beat you. No excuses. I like that, Sam. Top man, Sam. You're right because I'm relaxed, but fans like Lee Gunner and similar are not. Yeah.
Well, the difference with Lee, Lee's got his opinion, and I respect anyone's opinion. But Lee lives in Spain. Yeah. Lee's online. He's got his fans who love him. He's got his fans that hate him. But people like that who says, oh, Lee Gunner, don't worry about Lee because you're in London or you're at the stadium. So you can influence the people around you. This is what I'm on about. Create a culture at the game, which is positive. Yes, fans, you can criticise, but just keep it in the stadium where no matter what, we get behind the team. Do you know what pissed me off with Arsenal? Do you know what pissed me off with Arsenal? And I'm being honest. They only got beat off Brighton. Yeah? And they lost the league. They've had a fantastic season. Mint. Home, away, Europe. They took City to the wire. They lost the league. And they got beat. I can't think they drew or got beat at Brighton at the end.
They got beat, I think.
They all walked out, Terry. And to me, that upset me more because I thought, you've just watched your team have an unbelievable season. The last thing they want to see is an half-empty stadium at the end when they give everything that season and they fell at the final hurdle. That stadium should have been full. And they should have clapped them off and said, fucking well done. We support this team to the death. You've had the best season we've had in years. We didn't quite do it. But you know what? Next season we'll be back and we'll fucking have it. They all fucked off. And Sky zoomed in on it and put, look at the Arsenal fans leaving. And that's what you're up against now. But they didn't believe. And then you didn't believe. I've been to games where you clap your team off at the end of the season. No matter if they've let you down, you stay to the end.
Yeah. No, mate, I hear where you're coming from. And there's an element of that. I get it completely.